Hello, 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 sellers. It's Kathy, and I love to be selling. Come on in, sellers. We are going to bust eBay listing myths today. So come on in and let's bust some listing myths. I was looking at a few and I'm like going, oh my goodness. Let's talk about the truth about this. So the reason to look at things is things can be true, but they were true 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. So particularly if you're looking at listing information, optimizing information, any kind of eBay listing information, and if you're looking at it, let's see, like on YouTube, some podcasts, and please, thank you, first of all, for everybody, wherever you're listening to me. So if you're listening to me on my Facebook business page, thank you for following my business page and liking it and commenting. And if you're on my YouTube channel, thank you so much for liking and subscribing my YouTube channel, Kathy Terrell. I love to be selling. I certainly appreciate it. And also thank you for people that like and follow and download me for my podcasts, which are on iTunes, Apple, Spotify, Pandora. And thank you for the seller that asked me to be on Pandora. Now I'm on Pandora, iHeart. So thank you everywhere you follow me. When you're listening to information on YouTube and podcasts, and it's great places to get information, is you want to note the date. Okay, the year, because particularly for online selling, is typically if the information is more than a few years old, it is very likely to be outdated. And particularly with eBay, there's been so many updates on listing policies, optimizing listings. You really want information, if you can possibly get it. I mean, we're in 2023, that's current this year, if not at least last year. And again, it's good to look at people, and you want to look at how many followers they have and what their content tends to be. Look at what they talk about. Is this somebody that you want to rely on for truth? Or is this somebody that tends to stir the pot? And a little pot stirring, there's nothing wrong with that. But just keep an eye on what the purpose is of their channel. So what I do is I really try to put out accurate information. I update regularly. I let you know where I'm getting my information from. That's the other thing. What's the date on the information? Again, if it's a couple years old, likely not so reliable. And it's just because things change. It's not that the person putting the information out is trying to mislead you in any way, but the information changes. For instance, years ago on eBay, colored fonts were a great idea. It was encouraged. It was a way to grab people's attention in your listing. That has changed. It changed a couple of years ago. Why? It changed because our shoppers were on mobile more, and on mobile, colored fonts is rough. So then eBay started to encourage us to use black and white. And it wasn't just eBay, it was all selling sites. So that's another thing to keep an eye out, because some things are unique to eBay. Like eBay's one of the few sites that still has auctions. And other things are universal. Amazon, black and white fonts for the most part. Okay, so that's what it's about. It's easier on your eye. I mean, you can search and read up on it. So that's why the emphasis on using black and white. And if you have had your listings up for a while, if you're one of my sellers like me that's been selling for a while, do take a look at it. You do want to take the colored fonts out. Not that it's going to like hurt you in search or anything. I don't think that's the case. But it makes it easier on your buyer, which means they stay on your listing longer and more likely to buy from you. So that's why black and white. So look at, when is the information? Where are they getting it from? So big myth buster. I'm seeing a lot of stuff about, do this to sell faster, list faster, do faster. And I'm in New York City, right? We're the city of fast, faster, faster, faster. And so my myth buster is faster is not always better. You are far better when you've got listings up. And I know this is hard when you've got a lot of unlisted inventory, okay? But let's say you have 100 pieces or 200 pieces. And I know some of you have room fulls and basement fulls and garage fulls of unlisted inventory. But you are far better off to get up 5 listings a day versus, let's say, 10 listings a day, or 10 listings a day versus 20 listings a day, where your listings are optimized. And I'm going to explain why. Because when it goes up really, really fast and there might be errors in it and it's not optimized, yes, it's listed, but will you get your buyers? Because that's what you really want. You want a listing that's done in a way that your buyers can find you. And that's what's key with eBay listing, because the function of search and also how our listings look changes. And good news and bad news, it's going to be changing more. Why do I know this? Because I read the earnings reports from eBay. So eBay is a publicly traded company. It is for profit, and they put out earnings reports. And what's really interesting with the earnings reports, there's a lot of stuff you got to wade through, but it lets you know the direction that eBay CEO Jamie Iannone, his thoughts, his big picture, what he's emphasizing for eBay, because that's the big picture, and then it trickles down to us as sellers. And I'm going to give you a for instance, and it's about our listings, how our listings look, and why eBay's doing what it's doing, because it matters to us, because he talks about conversion. And conversion is how your items sell. So that's why we're looking at this, and we're busting the myth of faster is always better, because it's not. So this is Yahoo Finance, because I like to tell you where I'm getting my information from. And they transcribe the earnings call. You can get it. So just search on the internet, eBay earnings call. You sign up, you give an email, and then you have access to the earnings calls. But you can also search on the internet and you can get transcriptions. I like to do both. So I listen to the earnings calls, and then I like to read the transcription, because sometimes things go by so quickly, or I'm not sure, did I really hear that? And if I read it, it's easier. So that's why I pulled this up for you. So go to Yahoo Finance, eBay earnings call transcript. And this is Jamie Iannone coming. Jamie Iannone speaking. And Jamie's talking about his vision for eBay, which is 3 key pillars. They are relevant experiences, scalable solutions, magical innovation. Okay, and then he talks about that. And included in the first pillar of relevancy, he says, this includes developing a more relevant, consistent experience for the next generation of online shoppers. So they're concerned about the experience of our shoppers. Good, because we want them to have a good experience to shop with us. Through a comprehensive, hello sellers, ears up, overhaul of our user experience, users to shoppers, and design rollout in phases over the course of 2023. That means this year and beyond. This evolution will result in simpler, more personalized browsing experience. Okay, so that means eBay's redesigning the browsing experience, what the buyers see when they're shopping. It will inspire people, that's our shoppers, to sell. Okay, so it's also inspiring us to sell. Okay, good. Shop, yes, we're interested in the shoppers, and connect with their community on eBay. Okay, great. This initiative is cross-collaborative effort between design, product, core AI, that's artificial intelligence, search engineering, and other key stakeholders. So that means multiple teams are working on this, which again, personalized browsing, which means what people see in browsing is going to be changing. It inspires people to sell, because eBay wants people to come on the site and sell, because that gets eBay more inventory. More inventory listed typically means more sales, which is revenue for eBay. Shopping, us as sellers, we're very interested in that. Okay. And this is, he goes, yada, yada, yada. Innovations will increase our ability. Okay, great. This is it. We began rolling out these changes to consumers in recent months. So it's already happening. Starting with testing, hello sellers, a more modern and intuitive view item page, which is the most visited page on eBay. So they are updating the view item page. And now I know you're saying to me, Kathy, what is the view item page? The view item page is your listing. It's what your shoppers see. It is different on mobile and on desktop for the most part, because I know they're testing things. So for some of you, when you look at things on desktop and then look on mobile, it might look the same. And it's obviously going to be different. I think the way they're rolling it out too is you might see different things in different categories. Like on eBay Motors, they have the right fit. Okay. So they're going to be rolling out changes to the view item page. And what seems to be happening when they're rolling out these changes is, yes, sometimes they mentioned in the update, like this will be coming, or we've done this. And other times things just happen. I'm mentioning this because it is worth it to once a week, once a month, depending on how much time you're able to dedicate to your eBay selling, to look at a couple of listings in the categories that you sell in. I know a lot of you are soup to nuts sellers, so pull up a clothing listing, pull up a toy listing in case they're doing different things in different categories, and look at it on desktop. I list on desktop, I shop on desktop, but I do look things up regularly on mobile. I have my phone with me, okay? Because right now, at least for me, and again, they're always testing things. The way I see it on mobile is different what I see on desktop. So I just want to give you examples. So hang on, we're going to do this together. Again, why are we doing this? Myth busting. If they are playing, not if, they are playing with our view item page. So what this means is how our items look to our buyers is in the process of changing. I want to stay on top of that. And they're doing it to drive conversion. They're doing it to get people to your item and then to find out what parts of the view item, what's helping to drive sales, okay? So you want to keep an eye on it so that way you can be with eBay. And I'm going to read you some more from the earnings call because he's got some details in there, but I want to show you what I'm talking about. So let's take a look at, yes, let's take a look at, so I pulled up this Coach purse, okay? And again, just, you know, you search anything, but I just pulled Coach purse because there's a lot of Coach purses on eBay. And so what they said in the earnings call, I'm going to read this to you, about changing the view item page, is the updated page offers a streamlined appearance, larger and higher resolution images. So pictures really matter. Optimized, this is what got my sort of grabbed my attention. Optimized information hierarchy. We're going to come back to that term. Early tests indicate a measurable uplift in GMV, that's gross merchandise volume, that means more shopping, versus our existing design. So higher resolution images, optimized information hierarchy. So images and information hierarchy. So images. And we know now that we've been given more and more images, which is great. And they want higher resolution images, okay? Because that way the zoom and everything works. Like here on my desktop, I don't know if you see this, but I'm able to zoom in on this purse, okay? So that's why the higher resolution. Information hierarchy, that's a mouthful, isn't it? So I searched that term on the internet, and visual hierarchy refers to the organization of design elements on the page so that your eye is guided to consume. This is from, by the way, what website is this? This is from Nielsen Norman Group, world leaders in research-based user experience. But you can search this. I mean, there's a bunch of pages about this, and they pretty much say the same thing. Refers to organization of the design elements on the page so your eye is guided to consume each design element in the order of intended importance. Well, that makes sense, right? So eBay is laying out the page and will be changing the page, and they're noticing the results of the page of what gets shoppers' attention, also what has shoppers convert. And look at what is called above the fold. So above the fold is what they see without scrolling. Picture, title, price. I mean, if you look at the page, that's why it's hard to look at your own listings. It's good to look at other people's listings. What jumps out? The picture, the title, the price, the price, the price. And then they're saying breathe easy, returns are accepted, fast and reliable at shipping from the United States. I'm seeing the shipping price. They're giving me a delivery estimate and returns. Smaller writing below, sort of down. But the big thing is picture, title, price. Picture, title, price. And this seller, I mean, good job with the pictures, really nice. I mean, I clearly see what it is they have not used all 80 characters in the title. What is there is good, Coach Daisy, shoulder bag, hobo, brown signature, hot pink, but it has pockets. And people love pockets. So I definitely would have included pockets because you do get 80 characters. Why? Because eBay, Jamie Iannone is telling me there is an information hierarchy to our listings. And looking at the listing, again, What is jumping out at you? Picture, title, price, and then I can make an offer, which is nice. Okay. Another reason to put best offer. Now, when you hop over to the app and you look up, and do this, by the way, and this is why it's good to look at this stuff. And if you look at items now, what you'll see, let me pull up Coach Purse, and I'm pulling up the same Coach Purse. So you want to, if you can, apples to apples, is right under, so it's got the title, the picture to the left, pre-owned. So I'm seeing the condition right away. And again, you'll notice in the information hierarchy, the condition is right under the title. Okay, so it's letting me know that that's important to people, which it is, whether it's new with tags, all of that. So condition. And then interesting, on the app, it has pre-owned dot, and then it has the brand. So I'm being reminded again, this is pre-owned Coach. Okay. Then it has the seller's ID. I'm looking at it. Yes, seller ID, make sure I'm matching, and their feedback percentage. And there's been lots said about feedback as far as it's not used as far as your search rankings. It used to be part of best match criteria. But the interesting thing is now they're having your seller ID. Also, we know all things are subject to change on eBay, and your feedback number. Okay. And just for you to know, 100%, yay, 99, great, 88. But your feedback number matters as far as them seeing it right away. Just like if you're shopping on any site. If I'm looking at 3 similar items and one person, you know, 2 of the sellers, let's say one has 100, one has 98. To me, 98 is fine, particularly when it's larger sellers. But somebody else's feedback is 91, 92. That gives me pause, particularly if the items are very, very similar. These other sellers have a much higher feedback rating. I'm going to go with the sellers with a higher feedback rating. I will click over, take a look at the feedback, see what the buyers say about the person. But yes, the feedback doesn't matter for the search rankings, but it's very interesting to me that eBay now is showing our feedback percentage on mobile. Now, why does this matter? Because the majority of your shoppers now, in most categories, there are some categories where it's more on desktop. I would say like high-end antiques, collectibles. But for most categories, it's well over 70% now is on mobile. So you've got seller ID, percentage of positive feedback. Isn't that interesting? Search for yourself. You'll see what I'm talking about. Price, it lets me know best offer, and the shipping. Okay. So this is why the myth busting is, let's see, I'm just listing, and I'm not paying attention to my titles. Yeah, it might take you an extra minute or 2 minutes. And again, I realize when you're doing 10, for instance, let's say I'm doing 10 listings. An extra, let's say it takes me 2 minutes per listing to find a couple extra keywords. I just added 20 minutes to my listing process. Okay. Particularly when you're soup to nuts, because it might be a little work to find a good keyword. But look at the item. Like with that cute purse, I'll bring it back up again. Look at that item is, and this one can be hard because I'm looking at, I'm thinking color, you know, signature, but it's pockets. Okay. It might be the print. It might be the country that it's made from, because for the vintage, the fact that it's made in Japan or Taiwan lets you know, or Hong Kong, lets you know a little bit about the history of the item in some vintage categories. I'm thinking with women's, when it has women's vintage clothing, when it has the women's garment union label on it, it's helping them know the period of that item. Okay. So you may not think it's a big deal. That's why sometimes searching a little bit can help you. But it is for people that are buying it. So look at it. Is it the pattern? Does it have pockets? Is it a full zip? Is it a partial zip? The length of the sleeve, the fit of the sleeve, is it very fitted? Is it loose? Can give you extra keywords for your title. Why do I care about this? Because from Jamie Iannone, the earnings report, there is an information hierarchy in my listing. I look at my listing, my information hierarchy is my title. It is my condition, and it is my shipping, and it is my best offer. Then I hop over to the mobile app. And again, you don't need to shop on the mobile app. Just put it on your phone. put it on somebody's phone in your household. If you don't want to put it on your phone, it's like, okay, honey, I'm going to put it on your phone. and just go and look at some listings. But look at that. Now the seller's name, your seller ID, and your feedback percentage is on it. So again, do everything I can do to keep my feedback percentage up. It's not impacting me in search. It is not a part of best match search. eBay stopped that a while ago, but now it's showing on the mobile listings. Isn't that interesting, eBay? Again, always check desktop and mobile, even in a category where there's an awful lot of shopping. You know, I'm thinking antiques and collectibles, because they're really looking at every little bit. They're going to be zooming everything. But it's always good to compare it on both, because so many shoppers are on mobile. And sometimes people will search things on mobile, because I'll be out and about here in New York, and they might search something on mobile while they're waiting for their coffee on a lunch break, screenshot it, bookmark it, and then look at it on desktop when they get home. Okay. Now, some tips for you, just in case your sales are a little bit slow right now with the summer, which can happen because people are on vacation, people are traveling. So they not so much shopping, but we're starting to go into back to school. And from there, we'll go right into the fall. So already some things are kicking in while we're in the summer. And there's great ways to optimize that and really take advantage of that, so that you get as many sales as possible right now for your eBay selling. The tips that I have for you work whether you are a store seller. I always include some great tips for my store sellers, but I also have tips for you if you don't have a store. So hop over to my website, ilovetobeselling.com, and grab my top 10 tips to ignite your eBay summer sales. I've had fantastic feedback on these tips, sellers grabbing them and putting them right to use. So let's bust those eBay listing myths, ignite your summer sales, grab my free tips, top 10 tips to ignite eBay summer sales, and just enjoy eBay selling. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Bye-bye, everybody.